show is all about you, your health and professional development. Coming up in the half hour, a serious look at men's health.
Prostate cancer in its earliest stage is a disease that carries no symptoms. It's asymptomatic. That means a man will be walking around, he feels quite fine, but he can have prostate cancer.
We'll talk about the importance of screening and hear one man's story of triumph over prostate cancer. Also in today's show,
we intend to afford them some amount of training opportunities, soft skills, and some amount of coaching and various forms of development.
Sounds like an excellent opportunity, right? We'll meet the group of young people who are the lucky participants. It's all in today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Audrey, and I strongly suggest that you stop what you're doing, sit back and take it all in.
Are you registered to vote? If not, don't miss your chance to get on the next voters list. The deadline for registration is Wednesday, September 30. Persons not registered by September 30 for the November voters list cannot be added before May 2016. To get registered, simply visit the EOJ constituency office nearest you. For more information, call us at 922-0425-9 or visit ecj.com.jm. Remember, voting is your right.
Good day, I'm Tamara McHale and this is your JIS News for Thursday, September 24. Government is focused on sticking to the goals of the economic reform program and delivering growth from the stabilization of the economy. Justice Minister Senator Mark Golding said his ministry, through reforms and legislative amendments, has been assisting with that objective. The minister said Jamaica was able to jump 36 places on the International Ease of Doing Business survey with amendments to several acts including the Companies Office Act, Insolvency Act, the Banking Services Act and the Securities Act. An overhaul of the tax system, introduction of the flexi-work and disabilities legislation, as well as the implementation of the ASICUDA system at Jamaica Customs are also being praised for the improving economic climate.
I think there is indeed hope for Jamaica. We must continue the work that has commenced. We've achieved stabilization of the society and the economy, and the public finances in particular. The reforms that have been implemented are enabling us to shift focus from stabilization to growth, employment, wealth creation, and sustainable development.
The State Minister responsible for energy is commending the Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Program REAP for its role in lowering the island's energy bills. The latest initiative under the project is a $23 million 25-kilowatt solar and 1.2-kilowatt wind system installed at the UWI Marine Lab at Port Royal. It's expected to reduce the lab's electricity cost by 95%. The UWI's Marine Lab at Discovery Bay and the Blue and John Crow Mountains National Park have also benefited from the REAP program, which is a joint venture between government and the U.S. Department of Interior. Speaking at the commissioning ceremony Monday, Minister Julian Robinson applauded the program.
It also supports the strategy of the Government of Jamaica to diversify our energy portfolio and reduce electricity prices. And by doing so, we intend to achieve greater economic growth through investments and increased business competitiveness.
Government intends to use activities for Senior Citizens Week 2015 to improve healthy living in the nation's aging population.
The government is of the view that by showcasing practical examples of health promotion interventions, identifying initiatives in the society, and making available key resources about healthy aging, we can successfully build solid awareness of the steps required to make healthy aging a reality.
Portfolio Minister Derek Kelly was speaking at Tuesday's media launch. With seniors making up 11.3% of the population and statistics showing that this figure will rise to 25% in 2050, Minister Kelly said it was important to invest in healthy lifestyle practices among senior citizens. This year's observance from September 27 to October 3 is being held under the theme, Healthy Aging is the Desirable Goal. Activate your action plan now. And speaking as Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, Minister Kelly called on senior citizens to plant more trees. He encouraged seniors to revive the practice of planting trees with the navel string of newborn family members. This practice, he says, will go a far way in relieving the pressures brought about by drought related to climate change.
And you understand the reason why it is necessary for us to play our part as seniors, to plant a tree wherever possible and whenever possible. Because the best time to have planted a tree was yesterday, so that it would be already in the soil and growing, so that we can help to combat the vagaries of climate change that is upon us.
And finally, 2 Jamaicans have been awarded the prestigious Spanish Order of Civil Merit Officer class by the government of Spain. This is in recognition of their outstanding contribution to the development of the Spanish language and culture in Jamaica. Education Officer for Foreign Languages Martha Corbett-Baugh and Education Specialist at UNICEF Dr. Rebecca Tortello are the recipients. They were lauded recently at a ceremony held at the Spanish ambassador's residence in St. Andrew.
But these ladies are not decorated tonight only for their merits. They are decorated because they have been they are the cornerstone, as I said. They are the symbols, the representatives. They epitomize the cooperation between Spain and the Ministry of Education in Jamaica.
It is an honor for me as representing the Ministry of Education to use this occasion to both thank the Spanish government through their representative in Jamaica for considering us so much, so well, that you would honor 2 of our citizens.
That's it for GIS News today. I'm Tamar McHale. Thank you for watching.
Life is all about making decisions, choosing from a number of options to do a particular thing, which may result in a specific outcome.
It can be difficult, but there are 4 things you can do to help make that decision.
Stop. Check out what's happening and remind yourself to think before acting.
Think. Make sure you're aware of the choices, all the advantages and disadvantages. Then think about the consequences.
Act. Choose the best option and do something about it.
Review.
Finally, review what you have done and determine if it was good or bad. That way, you'll be in a better position to make the next decision, whether big or simple.
We're still in the first few weeks of the new academic year, a special time for thousands of students who have transitioned into a new phase of their education. It's also a new and exciting time for young college graduates who are making the transition into the world of work. One state entity recently launched a program to provide internships. It fits in nicely with government's focus on human capital development, and for the participants, it's an opportunity of a lifetime.
I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming, but there's a voice inside my head saying you'll never reach it.
At some point in our lives, we all set goals we want to achieve. And though the path to accomplish them may be smooth for some, for others, it can be a real struggle. However, with determination and a little help, you often find that goals which seemed so unattainable suddenly seem within reach.
But I gotta keep trying, gotta keep my head held high.
The government, through various social development programs across ministries, agencies and departments, has been extending that helping hand, providing mentorship, training and opportunities for employment. The Ministry of Science, Technology, Energy and Mining, MSTEM, is among the government ministries that are facilitating a mentorship environment. Successful MSTEM programs include the Train the Trainer program in animation, Digital Jam, and Startup Jamaica. Through these programs, Jamaicans have been able to secure meaningful employment and become successful entrepreneurs. And now, the STEM Ministry has added a new program, the Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica PCJ Graduate Internship Program.
You're going to be exposed to just so much. It's going to be a really great experience, I can tell you, because you're going to be blown away by the extent of the exposure that you're going to get in this program. We're talking about innovations in energy. We're talking about conservation and mechanics of that international fuel pricing formula.
The objective is really to lend a hand to the development of young people in Jamaica. It forms part of our broader list of corporate social responsibility programs in contributing to the development of Jamaica through its young people.
The 10 shortlisted interns will spend a year at the PCJ in an area of their choosing, whether finance, human resources management, engineering, geology, information technology, and media and mass communication. While working at the PCJ, the participants are expected to gain valuable skills to help them transition into professional life, preparing them to take on the working world and contribute to the economic development of the country.
You'll be well advised to learn and practice proper time management, demonstrate initiative to constantly broaden your scope of knowledge, and eagerly embrace the hands-on lessons that are necessary to attaining mastery in your chosen area of specialization.
And the eager interns are raring to go, armed with some skills of their own, anxious to achieve their professional goals.
I've brought with me my passion and enthusiasm about writing.
I did a geology and chemistry degree, so I also bring in some amount of chemistry to my degree, which is very important in oil and gas research, especially when it comes to hydrocarbon research. So I guess those are kind of the big skills that I bring to this.
In the future, I'd like to become an HR manager. I'm learning all aspects of HR, so that will contribute to my development and that I'll be well-rounded.
We intend to afford them some amount of training opportunities, soft skills, and some amount of coaching and various forms of development. The expectancy of them is to learn and perform.
Being in the PR department, I've been able to give an input in everything that has been including this event, and I can see where I have been contributing.
I've been exposed to a number of areas, not only in engineering or construction, but also even stuff just like as simple as administrative stuff, which is necessary you need in our development as young professionals.
Sanjay is a civil engineer graduate but wants to transition into chemical engineering.
Considering that PCJ is actually within the energy sector, it's advantageous to me to have been placed here.
I expect at the end of the day to become a well-rounded individual who is able to function effectively in respective environments.
We would hope that this program will grow to take on more students, and so that in the end the Jamaican society can benefit from the productivity that these persons will be taken to the job market.
But their job search may very well begin and end at the PCJ.
Yes, there is a possibility of a permanent employment for all the graduate interns in their participation. The policy is tailored that way, so that if it is that there is a vacancy and that person has a competencies to match the vacancy, as with all other employment screening, then we will be looking at the intern.
The PCJ's graduate internship program is inspired by Petrojam, another subsidiary of the STEM Ministry, which also operates an internship program. So, with government taking a leadership role to groom young people for meaningful employment, it's also adding to the pool of qualified persons from which businesses can choose.
Excess salt in your diet increases blood pressure and contributes to kidney damage, gastric cancer, obesity, osteoporosis, and the worsening of asthma. Aim to have no more than 3 to 6 grams of salt, or half of 1 teaspoon per day. And children under 11 years of age should consume less than this. Get healthy. Reduce the salt. A public service message from the Jamaica Information Service and the Ministry of Health.
We're going to hear some interesting facts about blood collection and the science behind the process. That's coming up in a few minutes. But right now, I have a question for the men in the audience. When was the last time you had a checkup? If you can't remember, then it's time to set an appointment to see your doctor. And while you're there, talk to him about prostate cancer screening. In our next feature, we look at the importance of screening and hear from one prostate cancer survivor who says, if it wasn't for that test, he would not be alive today.
The major risk factors for prostate cancer are age. It's a disease of the aging man. So as a man gets older, it's more likely that he will be diagnosed with the disease. In addition to age, race is a major risk factor. So anywhere in the world, men of color or African background are present, they will likely be suffering from prostate cancer at a high rate. Family history is a major risk factor. If a man has one family member who has prostate cancer, his risk is double compared to someone who doesn't have the disease. If he has 2 family members, the risk is multiplied by 5. It therefore means that every man really should know what their family history is like regarding this disease. But those risk factors of age, of race, of family history are not modifiable. We can't change those things. But what we can change is a significant risk factor of diet. So the diet that is associated with that increased risk of prostate cancer is a diet that is high in fatty foods, so the polyunsaturated fatty acids, the PUFAs as we call them, a diet that is high in red meat, a diet that is high in caloric content, a diet that is low in fresh fruits and vegetables, and fiber. So not only is it an inciting factor, it's a promoter once the disease is diagnosed. Prostate cancer in its earliest stage is a disease that carries no symptoms. It's asymptomatic. That means a man will be walking around, he feels quite fine, but he can have prostate cancer. The symptoms that you anticipate if someone has more advanced disease now are things like lower urinary tract symptoms. So these may be blood in the urine, these may be difficulty urinating, straining to urinate, urinary retention maybe, and the advanced stages where now the disease has spread to distant areas. A man may have back pain or bony pain because it has spread to the bones surrounding the spinal cord. He may be unable to walk or to control his urine or stool. He may have renal failure, but these are advanced cases. So the point is, don't wait until you have symptoms. Check the prostate, and it must be done once every year. When we talk about prostate cancer, it's a global problem. It's not just Jamaica, it's not just the region, it's the world. And so we therefore suggest that men screen for prostate cancer in Jamaica. Screening is very simple. It starts at age 40 and it's done every year. The urologist does a DRE, it's called the digital rectal exam. It's just inserting the right index finger, the digit, to test the prostate. What we're doing at that exam is we're feeling for the consistency of the prostate. The normal prostate is smooth, it is firm, it is indentable, much like touching the tip of your nose. If, however, when we feel the prostate, it feels nodular, it feels hard, then we are suspicious that there may be cancer there. Now, in addition to doing this DRE, we do a blood test called the PSA, which is short for prostate-specific antigen. The PSA is a protein that is normally produced by the prostate in health and in disease. So if we see a man who either has a high PSA or his digital rectal exam is abnormal, we suggest a confirmatory test, which is a prostate biopsy, which is where we get tissue from the prostate to see if there's cancer there. Once a diagnosis of prostate cancer is established, then treatment will follow based on the age of the patient, based on their desires, based on their disease stage.
a few seconds of discomfort is better than a lifetime or many years of serious, excruciating pain. I appeal through this medium to my fellow men not to be afraid of any of the checks, the DRE or the PSA. It's for your own benefit, your own welfare. It can be prevented. You don't have to die, and you can live a good quality of life. Early detection, following your doctor's advice, and if you find that you have the cancer and you have your surgery or whatever method, just change your lifestyle to suit the occasion.
Know your numbers and control the keys to a healthier heart. Know the numbers for your blood pressure, cholesterol level, blood glucose level, and your weight and body mass index. Find out the risks they represent and what you need to do to stay healthy. Talk to your doctor and start making healthy lifestyle choices to prevent a heart attack or stroke.
They say water is life, and so is blood. We can't survive without an adequate supply, and that's why the Blood Bank encourages healthy Jamaicans to donate blood while ensuring the safety of the precious liquid.
As long as man is around to get sick or injured, blood will remain a high-demand substance for health practitioners. But for all its wonderful properties, the life-saving bodily fluid could become a death sentence if not handled properly. For those who need their supplies boosted, health workers cannot simply hook up a needle and feed the red and white cells from another individual straight to the needy bloodstream.
It's not just a simple matter of collecting blood, finding out what the group is, and then passing it on to the recipient. There are lots of other things that go into providing safe blood.
Think of blood like a home. Certain fundamental things like walls, floors, and ceilings are common to all, but the little things you put in over the years and experiences you have within those spaces make each unique to its owner. Like your home, blood can change owners, but you have to make some adjustments to have it meet the needs of the new recipient. That is what the technicians and health workers have to do before blood that is donated can be passed on to someone in need. The first step is to screen the donor to determine their medical history and suitability to donate.
The screening is aimed at 1, protecting the donor, and 2, protecting the potential recipient.
After that, it's a matter of sterilizing the donor's arm and proceeding to draw the blood. From there, the blood is taken to the lab, where it goes through a series of tests. Technicians look for things like blood groupings such as A, B, O, and Rh types, antibodies in the red blood cells, venereal diseases such as syphilis, HIV, the virus that causes AIDS, hepatitis B and C, which affect the liver, and HTLV, human T-cell lymphotropic virus type 1 and 2, a virus that weakens the immune system. At the island's blood bank, the National Blood Transfusion Service, tests such as these are carried out daily. For each unit of blood drawn, 2 sample tubes are also collected. These are referred to as the red and purple top. For accuracy, data on the tubes must correspond with the main bag. The purple top sample is used to screen for antibodies and blood groupings. Blood grouping is just as important as the infectious screening. This ensures compatibility for the recipients, that is, people of the same blood group receiving the same blood type.
We do our ABO grouping here at the blood bank using the Diamed system. This technology is a gel system. It has microtubules, otherwise we call it as wells, and it has our anti-sera already in these wells.
A drop of the donor blood is placed into each of these wells. It is incubated and put in a machine that spins the substance at a high speed. After this process, a reading is given.
This is an example of a blood group we can read it macroscopically. This is reading O negative based on the cells that are seen here.
In VDRL testing, which checks for syphilis, a small amount of the serum or the white part of the blood is dropped into a tube and then incubated at 56 degrees Celsius. After 30 minutes, it is taken from the incubator, placed on a slide, mixed with an antigen, and then rotated at 180 degrees for 4 minutes. The slide is then placed under a microscope for reading. A positive sample for syphilis would show signs of lumps or flocculation. Samples from the main lab are taken over here for the human immunodeficiency virus HIV screening, as well as the human T-cell lymphotropic virus HTLV and hepatitis B and C screenings. The different reagents or chemical compound for each of these viruses are added to the blood samples and placed in this machine. The reagent will cause a color change to the sample, indicating a positive reading.
Basically, it interprets this color change to a numerical value, which we can quantitate. Either if it's positive, it tells us the degree of positivity based on the numerical value, and if it's negative, we also get a numerical value, but we also have a cutoff value which can tell us whether it's negative or positive.
Whole blood is never administered as part of safety measures. The whole blood is separated into components: red blood cells or packed cells, plasma, or white cells.
If you had a patient who was anemic, who is in heart failure, and you gave whole blood, you're giving that person a lot of plasma unnecessarily. They really need the packed cells component. Not only is it unnecessary, but you put them at added risk of making the heart failure worse. So it is important to give just the component that is required.
And the safety procedure doesn't end there. A cross-matching process is also done to identify minor blood groups that might interfere with a successful transfusion process. But once all the tests are done to satisfaction and the separation process is completed, you can rest assured that the blood to be administered is safe.
This is where we say so long, but only for today. Please join us again tomorrow, same time, same station, for another insightful program. Until then, keep the link via our website, jis.gov.jm. We welcome your feedback via email or social media. And if you missed the show, just hop on over to our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production crew, I'm Audrey Williams, wishing you a wonderful evening.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.